Alright, we have the neck blank out of the clamps, and now I need to thickness it. You see there's a line here that's got a lot of glue squeezed out. That's where the part of where the joint was. It's also a little bit high. It slipped a bit in the clamps. You see a line. I've got a line around it to give me a rough guide to where I want to thickness. While I'm doing that, I want to keep that line right there straight and square. And I'm just going to take a hand plane. What I have is I have a hand plane that has a newly honed plane blade in it, as fine as of an edge as I could get on it, and I've got it for shallow depth of cut, and the chip breaker on the plane iron as close as I can get it to the edge of the iron, and that way what it is I'm trying to avoid tear out in this maple. Maples are very hard wood, and it's also kind of a finicky wood. If you don't have a really sharp iron or a really sharp blade of any kind, chisel, saw, whatnot, it will tear out. It will give you a lot of grief. So you have to make sure that it is good and sharp, and you're taking shallow cuts. Now you'll see as I progress and I see how the wood is going to act, I'll crank the depth up. You'll see my left hand, there's a wheel in front of it behind the blade, and you'll see, there you go, right there, you'll see me spin that, and I'll increase the depth of the cut as I work, so that I can hog off more material quicker. And that's pretty much what this is. I'm flattening and leveling this face of this headstock so that it's nice and flat and even as even of a thickness as I can get it all the way across it. And you're just hogging a lot. I've got to take like 3/16 of an inch off the surface of this headstock. That doesn't sound like much, but it's almost 1/4 of an inch, and that's quite a bit of wood, particularly when you consider that it is maple. There we go, cranking it some more. But some people would take that to a bandsaw and just cut that off and then take a plane to it. I don't have a bandsaw. I could have done it with a handsaw. I've done that before. But the plane makes quick work of it. It does just fine, and I enjoy using the plane. So and you see me touching it with my hand and stuff. I'm checking that joint to see how smooth it is. And I want to make sure I keep this line straight. And you'll see me, I'm checking the rough line that I made, and working on individual areas that aren't coming down quite as quickly as other parts of it. And I have a caliper that I've set to 8/16 or 1/2 inch. And I'm checking my progress with that as I go. So here I am going across, because actually what I'm doing is coming from the middle of this board toward that outside that's closest to the camera, because it's thicker there than it is on the other side. So, and I've probably got a bit of a hump in the center as well, and so I'm just doing whatever I have to do to make sure that it's coming down evenly and squarely across where that nut, because the nut will rest right there at that joint where it bends there and makes the angle. That place that I'm trying to keep square is because the nut will sit there. Now I don't have to have it square all the way across the board. I need it square 1 3/4 of an inch at the middle of this board, because my nut width is 1 3/4 inch. Everything else will get sawn away, cut away, filed away, whatever. So it's not really that critical, but if you're going to do it, you just well do your best to do it right all the way across. And you see me touching that up just a bit. I love the sound a plane makes when it cuts through wood. And maple's hard, but I actually love working with it. It doesn't blow out as much like if you file to the edge or plane to the edge of it. The board doesn't blow out as much as others, but it does. If it does blow out, it'll blow out pretty good. But it doesn't blow out like, say, mahogany will blow out. Keeping that square, that's important. Alright, now I've got it down to pretty much the thickness I want. It just needs a little, so I want to kind of smooth the surface out. I could have used a sanding block, but I have this little jitterbug, which is what I would call it, sander. So I'm going to use it. It's nice and flat and level anyway. All I'm doing now is basically smoothing out the surface roughly. I had to step out and get some more sandpaper. That's cutting a lot better. Check and make sure it's square again. Check the thickness again. Make sure I didn't take it too far. .60 grit can take wood away really fast, but this is hard maple, so I've got a little play, a little leeway there. And I actually use the sander to kind of, or I'm actually using the sander to kind of lower one side of it a little bit now. And get it the thickness that I want all the way across, where I didn't completely with the plane. It's just probably thousandths of an inch, but while I'm here, why not? Alright. A little bit more with the sander. And I'll smooth it out until it's done, which it is. I'm checking for flat now. And I will see you in the next video where we will actually cut the shape of this out and move on with the rest of the build for the neck. Thanks for watching. God bless you, and I'll talk to you later.